Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, there was a poll that was published, a survey that was published, and it says 55% of Americans get their information from TV, and 21% get their information from the internet. So that's the majority. And when they watch TV or the internet, all they hear about Muslims and Islam is that Muslims are terrorists, Islam is a violent religion, Muslim hates Americans. And unfortunately, on TV and on the internet, other people are defining Muslims, are defining Islam. And people like Bill Maher, people like Bill O'Reilly, like Pamela Geller, and Fox News, people that are non-Muslim, they are defining who we are. What is Islam? Defining 1.7 billion people. And sometimes they bring people who are Muslim or who have Muslim names, but they hate Islam to speak negatively about Muslims. And all they do is spread lies, hate, and fear. And they don't have facts or don't allow people to challenge what they're saying. And if you try to challenge them, they will just yell at you or whatever to just intimidate you. Even when you watch TV series or some movies, now it's very common to see the villain, the person who's evil, is somebody with a Muslim name or Muslim features. That's very common. And some words they take from Islam and twist them, present them in a different way, like the word jihad. The word jihad in Islam means struggling, exerting a lot of effort in doing something. They changed it to mean war, fighting, killing. And you read the Prophet ﷺ said, the best jihad is the one who performs jihad against his own soul for the sake of Allah. So jihad in Arabic, really, what it means is to try to be a better human being, to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to follow His orders. And it's a 24/7 lifetime effort. It's not a one day, it's all your life. You're going to try to obey Allah, and it's hard. It's not easy, so that's why it's a struggle. That's what jihad means. In Arabic, there is a word for war, which is harb. That's different. But they twisted it to make jihad means killing. And it's not. And interesting, there is an organization called the Europol. Europol is a European organization that coordinates with all the police departments in Europe, their activities. And they published some information about 2013. In that information, they said in 2013 there was 152 terror attacks in Europe. The majority of them were carried by independent movements in Spain, in Ireland, stuff like that. And they said only 2 out of 152 were religiously motivated. Out of 152, only 2. But you only hear about those 2. You don't hear about the 150. That's all you hear about. And as a matter of fact, Europol said that the worst terrorist attack that happened in Europe, the worst one, was the one that happened in 2011 in Norway, where a person, a Christian terrorist, killed 77 people. And it's very strange. That person, he was mad at Muslims that they are living in Norway. And he wanted to make a statement. So his statement was to kill 77 Christians. He sounds exactly like ISIS. ISIS are mad at the West, so they're killing Muslims. So he should join them. It's kind of strange. That shows that extremism has no religion. Same mentality, whether you are Muslim, you're Christian, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a mentality. And it's interesting because fear sells. That's why media is spreading fear, because fear sells. Fear is very profitable. Fear makes people sell weapons, make people hire police officers and spend unlimited money on security, make people not question if they suppress human rights or your individual right or your privacy. Fear sells. It's very profitable. And you see it always at time of election. Candidates, they come and talk about fears. And if you vote for me, I'm going to be the one who's going to take care of the fear, eliminate the fear for you, all of that. So it's fear is a very profitable business. And that's why media promoted. They get a lot of money for advertising. When there is a lot of fear, they attract people. And it's interesting, the Gallup published a research. They said more than 60% of people who have prejudice against Muslims, who don't like Muslims, know nothing about Islam. They want to talk to the people. 60% have no idea about Islam. And as a matter of fact, that's how they intimidate people. They come up on TV and they tell you about Sharia. People don't know what is Sharia. It sounds like a buzzword. People think it's something evil. It's like Ebola. Is there a vaccine against Sharia? Is there something I can do about it? One time on TV, they had a march in one of the Midwest cities, and they have sign, stop Sharia law, stop this. A guy with a huge sign was standing with a stop Sharia law. The reporter, news reporter, asked him, do you know Sharia? What is Sharia? He said, no. But he's brainwashed. Stop Sharia, do whatever it takes. And it's interesting, media was successful in painting 1.7 billion Muslims with the same brush. People who commit acts of terrorism are a very tiny fraction of the Muslim Ummah, very tiny fraction. But they convince people that they are representative of the 1.7 billion. And sometimes we see on TV people who come and defend Muslim, like Ben Affleck. He came and defended Muslim. Pope Francis, he defended Muslim. But true Muslims are absent. They are not there to talk for Muslims. The true Muslim, they are not there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change their own condition. So Allah is telling us, if you want to change what's happening, take the first step. If you take the first step, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to carry us all the way to the end. But we have to take the first step. That's all we have to do. Take the first step. And there is a major role that we expect from two groups of people in the Muslim community. The first one is Americans who converted to Islam. And the second one is the second and third generation of Muslim who were born here in the United States. The reason those two groups are important, because those two groups, English is their first language. It's not like the rest of us, where English is our second language. They think and they talk in English naturally. So it's not difficult for them to speak or write. And what they need to do, those two groups, is confront Islamophobia, the fear of Islam that's spreading. They need to confront it in the news, in the entertainment media. They need to confront it on the internet. They can write letters to the editors. They can write comments on the internet to represent the true Islam. And they can do that. They can confront Islamophobia from public figures who stand and say things that are completely untrue and negative about Muslims. They can do something. So they have a major role to play, that they can help the whole Muslim community. And the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, whoever of you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. And if he's not able to do so, then with his tongue. And if he's not able to do so, then with his heart, and that is the weakest of faith. So we need to do some change. We cannot just sit passive. We go to work, come from work, and that's all we do. If we see some harm being done to the community, we need to speak up. We need to support those people if they're going to write letters, if they're going to write comments. We need to support them. There is some people that do speak for the Muslim, and who are Muslim. Like there is a gentleman with the name of Din Ubaidullah. There is Reza Aslan. They write things and they write comments, and I've seen them on TV and all of that. But when you look at the comments that are written below them, there will be like 200-300 comments. I just go down 20, 30, 50 comments. All of them are negative. Where are the Muslims? Why they are not writing words of support? And this we can do, all of us, whether English as our first language or second. We can do it. It's very simple. You can say, excellent article, very good information, whatever. Give them support, give them encouragement. It cannot be that all the comments below them are people attacking them. And we are busy working. We are busy. How we're going to give them support? How we're going to encourage them to continue? It's from you and I that we should do that. But whatever you do, whatever you write, whatever comments you do, you should always remember first you are a Muslim. And therefore, you have to respect the words you are saying. The Prophet ﷺ said, the believer does not insult others. He does not curse others. He does not use profanity. And he does not abuse others. So whatever you write, you have to remember you're Muslim. There is rules that you have to obey. So you cannot do like some other people when they write comments, they write foul language, profanity. No. You're going to write kindly. You're going to write in a nice way that represent Muslims. We as Muslims, we need to win the hearts and minds of the American people. People are afraid of what they don't know, and they don't know the Muslims. They are afraid of that. We need to communicate with America. We need to communicate with our neighbors, communicate with our co-workers, communicate with everybody we get in touch with. We need to do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know each other. First, you look at the beginning of the verse. Allah is saying, O mankind. He's talking to all of us. And He's telling us we need to know each other. We are not doing a good job at that as Muslim. We are not knowing our neighbors, our friend. You talk to a Muslim and you ask him, do you know your neighbors? He says, yes. Do you talk to them? Yeah, I do talk to them. What do you say to them when you talk to them? I say hi. Is that it? Is that it? That's communicating? That's talking to them, your neighbors? There is so many hadith in the Quran, and things that the Prophet told us about our neighbors, how important they are. But we don't know them. We have a responsibility to communicate with all those people. We need to stop being a closed community. We are a closed community. We hang around people from our same background, same country, same culture. We hang around those people. We need to interact with others, not just those people, the neighbors, your guy next to you in the cubicle, the people sitting next to you on the plane, on the bus, in the train. We need to communicate with them. We should socialize with non-Muslims, not only with Muslims. You should socialize with them. There is nothing that prevents us in Islam from knowing and socializing with non-Muslim, as long as you respect the laws of Islam. So if you don't do anything haram that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us don't do. And we must respect and be kind to all people. It has to be a mutual respect. The Prophet ﷺ, if he had focused only on Muslim, there wouldn't be 1.7 billion Muslim in this world. No way. But he was focusing on everybody, non-Muslim and Muslim, and talking to everybody. As a matter of fact, if you look at Indonesia, Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world. More than 220 million Muslims live in Indonesia. How they became Muslim? Merchant traveling over there to do trade and all of that. They interacted with them, communicated, talked to them, became friends with them, went to their home, they invited them. That's how they said, wow, Muslims are wonderful people. Why don't we become Muslim? And now they have 220 million Muslim in Indonesia. So contact, interaction. Anytime there is hysteria, panic, and a lot of misinformation which is happening about Muslim, it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. And people and authority, when they get to that stage, they start to become irrational. And they start to behave not common sense, against common sense. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He's repeatedly telling us the story of the nation that came before us. The nation of Sayyidina Musa, the nation of Noah, Nuh, the nation of Isa alayhim salam, all of them. He's telling us their story. It's not Allah is telling us the story because it's a nice story to hear. He's telling us because He's telling us history repeats itself. Whatever happened is going to happen again, and it's going to happen 5,000 years from now, it's going to happen always. When 10,000 years ago somebody was stealing, they were stealing an egg or a camel or a sheep. Today people, they steal, still the same. They steal an iPhone, they steal credit card, but still they are thieves. 1,000 years from now they will steal something else. So history repeats itself. And if we don't learn from that, from history, then we are going to fall in the same trap. In this country, whenever there was hysteria, panic, and all the kind of misinformation, the country made wrong decisions. And there is so many instances. I'm going to mention one only. During the World War II, there was the media was talking about the Japanese people in hysteria, panic, scaring people off from them. And Japanese people were no different than us. They were decent people, hardworking, tried to make a better life for them and their family. That's all they were doing. But the government started to panic and make hysterical decision. What they decided in 1942, they took 120,000 people from Japanese descent and they put them in camps. Took them from their homes, lost their jobs, lost their cars, lost their careers. Took them from 1942 to 1945 in camps. Because there was a lot of misinformation and hysteria. So we need to be cautious about that. We need to make sure we communicate with the outside world about the Muslim and Islam. And you know, it's kind of interesting. Terrorist organization, when they see what's happening, they are happy. Their goal in life is to create a gap between the population and the Muslim population. Create a divide between those two. Because that's how they can recruit people. If the government start to mistreat the minority people, then the minority people feel helpless. We want to do something. So they start to recruit them. Come, I can show you the way, which is not the right Islam way. And we need to do that. We need to pay attention to that. There is two groups of people that we should focus on to protect from terrorist organization. The first group is our youth. Young people in their teens and early 20s. Those people are impressionable. They are less cautious. They are more courageous. They are more active. They want to do things. And those people, they go on the internet. They look here, they look there. And they are being targeted by terrorist organization, by extremists. So we as parents, we need to listen to them. We need to know their friends. We need to protect them, guide them. You cannot say, I'm taking care of my family. What are you doing? I'm working hard, bringing them money. Money is not going to help them if they get into trouble. We need to be with them, listen to them, make sure they don't fall in the wrong hands, they don't listen to the wrong message about Islam. So we have a role to play. And the Prophet ﷺ said, a person follows the religion of his close friends. So you should be very careful who you choose for close friends. Know the friends of your children, whether they are in their teens or early 20s, know them. Invite them to the house. Listen to what they are saying and understand it. The other group that are vulnerable as well is Muslim converts. Muslim convert, most of them, they have a weak relationship with their family. And unfortunately, the Muslim community is not opening their arms to embrace them. So they are kind of caught in between. So they go on the internet looking for information, and sometimes they fall prey to people, terrorists or extremists, trying to recruit them, and they fall in traps. So we need to open our arms to those people and help them, explain to them what is true Islam, not all the messages they hear on the internet and all of that. And the Prophet ﷺ said, each of you is the mirror of his brother. So if he sees any fault in him, he should wipe it away from him. So we need to help them. If we see them going in the wrong direction, we bring them back. We bring them back, protect them as Muslims. The Prophet ﷺ said, the wolf only eats the lone sheep. So make sure we have a support group to each other. We're supporting each other. If we have a problem, there is somebody you can talk to. Supporting each other is very important. We have to remember, we in the United States, the Muslim community, we are the first line of defense for the Muslim all over the world. You may think that's exaggeration. No, it's not. The United States is the only superpower in the world. And any direction the United States takes, eventually the rest of the world will follow. So we need to make sure that the United States is taking the direction that support Muslim, that understand Muslim, not the other way. So we have a role to play here. We are the ambassador of Islam. Whether we like it or not, we are. So communicate with other people. Let them know you. Shake their hand. Talk to them. Welcome them in your home. Accept their invitation. As long as you're not doing anything haram, you're not eating pork or drinking alcohol. Talk to them. Accept them. If they have some kind of good event, they have like a wedding or a new child born, offer them your congratulations. Offer that to them. If somebody is sick of your neighbors, go and visit him. Go and visit him. That's the Muslim character. If they have a death or somebody, a tragedy or whatever, go and offer your condolences to them. Be supportive to them. That is the Muslim. Let them know who you are. And participate with them in all the good events. If at work they're doing a sport event, participate with them. If you see them, somebody of your friends is moving, help him move. If they want to fix something, help them. So be an active Muslim, active in the community, active in the neighborhood, active in politics, vote. So we need to do that. We as Muslim, we can do a lot to change the feeling of the American people, but we have to do that. And remember, we are the impression that they get about Islam. What we say, what we act, is going to be their impression about Islam and Muslims. I have a friend that I worked with 30 years ago. We worked together, and then he moved to Arizona. We stayed in touch, good friends and all of that. He had a family gathering. There was like a dozen of people in the family gathering, and they were talking what's happening and all of that. His niece, one of the things she said to his niece, Muslims are terrorists. Muslims are blah, blah, blah. Keep going, negative things. And he got angry. He said, do you know any Muslim? She said, no. He said, I know a Muslim and I know his family. And they are decent people. They are very kind. They are very good people. So don't generalize. Maybe there is some bad, but there is some bad in every community. He stood up for Muslims. My friendship with him was many years ago, but he remembered my relationship and how we behaved. Same thing, everyone that knows each one of you is going to have the same feeling. He will stand up for you even if you're not there. And for all Muslims, depend on the impression you left with him. So, the key thing I want to say, if we act now, inshallah, we will gradually change the mind and hearts of Americans about Muslim and Islam. And inshallah, we will make America safe for us and for our children. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه غفور رحيم.